Hey everybody, what's up? It's Jaquita and I am back with episode 6 of HerSpace On Cue. Today I had the pleasure and honor of sitting down with author Anitra L. who wrote the book Sojourner of Grief, Finding Hope and Healing After Loss. She is an educator, a therapist, a writer, a speaker. She's the owner and CEO of FOL nonprofit 5013C. She also is a mother and just very multifaceted. I am so grateful to sit down with her today. She shares her journey of how she has had to construct and deconstruct her life through the double loss of 2 of her sons to suicide. And so I just welcome you all into this conversation. Of course, I am inviting you also and giving you permission to take care of yourself in this time, as we will be talking about suicide. We will be talking about the loss of children. And so if you need to step away or take time for yourself, please do so. I hope you enjoy this conversation. Thank you, Anitra. Oh my gosh, for being here.
You're welcome.
I am so excited to see you, to be in this space, to be having this conversation with you. Again, I knew that you wrote Sojourner of Grief, which is this book right here. Yes, I have sticky notes. I remember when you were telling me about it. It was funny because I was in that room. I think when you called me, or I called you, we were on the phone, and you was like, I'm writing a book and I'm working on it. And you read me a passage and it's in here. I think it was in your introduction or one of the first chapters. And it was something you said and it felt familiar in my body. It's what you read to me. Yeah. And I remembered it and I was like, wow. And so you were working on your book in that time. That was a few years ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I am so happy to be here with you and just to pick your brain because, again, we have known each other since, for how long?
I don't know. Like, it's been a blur, but it's been a minute. I can't remember, though.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been a minute.
Probably at least 5 years, maybe. Mm-hmm. And how did we meet? Because that was so funny.
Yeah, it was, was it through, I remember it being through Erica.
Was it through Erica? Okay. So I remember you were friends with Erica, but I found you on Facebook.
Yes.
So, because I was looking at, we both went to North Central.
No, I went to Capella.
Oh, you went to Capella.
Yeah.
But it was something
the MFT or something.
Yes. It was something that I looked for, and I was like looking for people that was doing the same thing I was doing. And I seen your name. I went to Facebook, found you, and then I added you, and then we realized that we were friends with Erica.
Okay.
And things like that. But that was how we discovered our friendship. That was so interesting. But anyway, I want you to just introduce yourself before we jump right into everything, because I'm excited, of course, to have you here because we haven't talked in a while.
Yeah.
But I just want you to introduce yourself to the people, let them know who you are, because I'm going to introduce you,
Okay.
But I want you to do
it. Wow, I don't know, it's kind of weird to introduce myself. I'm Anitra.
Yes.
I'm Anitra Rice. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm a mom. I like to call myself a boy mom because I love my sons.
Yes.
And I'm an author, a speaker. I'm also, I forgot. I'm the founder and executive director.
Yes, absolutely.
Of the FOL Foundation, a nonprofit of 501c3. That's just a little bit about me.
Absolutely. There's so much depth to you. And when we met, at the beginning of our meeting, I think we met in 2019 or 20. Which was it? I can't remember.
It's a blur because of everything that happened during that time. So, I think it may have been 2019. Was it before Josiah?
Wow, that's what I think.
Yeah.
I think so because I remember seeing you on Facebook, and you had posted a video. And I could not. I cried the entire video.
So it was before.
It was before because I couldn't believe it. And so I don't want to tell your story. I want you to tell your story about just the introduction about. For one, again, Anitra wrote this book called Sojourner of Grief, Finding Hope and Healing After Loss. And I had the opportunity to read Sojourner of Grief. I'm sorry, Sojourner of Truth, because
I know.
Sojourner of Grief, and just Anitra's wisdom, the depth of her grief and pain, the reflections that you've had about your grief has been, I don't know, I've never heard anyone describe their grief in this way, you know? And so I just want you to tell the people a little bit about your story and why and how you were Sojourner of Grief.
So Sojourner of Grief is my story, my journey of finding hope and healing after the loss, the double suicide loss of my two oldest sons. I lost Josiah, or we lost Josiah, December 7th, 2019, from mental illness, depression, by way of suicide. And 16 months later, we lost Jaden, my second oldest, to the same devastation, depression, mental illness by way of suicide. They were 18 months apart in birth and 16 months apart in death. And Sojourner of Grief is me learning how to pick up the pieces. It's very raw, it's very candid, but it's also full of hope. It's my journey of the bottom falling out, in what that was like in real time. So I wrote the book in real time. So it was me, what does this day feel like right now?
Yeah.
What does this pain feel like right now? I wrote part of it in the hospital because one of the parts of the bottom falling out was I ended up being hospitalized.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it was, and just, I'm a very spiritual person.
Yeah.
So what did my relationship with God look like throughout that whole thing? Because I prayed and fasted and did the therapy with my sons and with myself and all the things, and this still happened. And so what, that changes you.
Absolutely.
And it changes your perspective on life, on relationships, on God. And so I talk about that, like just even what does prayer look like for me? And, especially because I prayed so much for my sons and they still were gone. And so just the expansiveness of God that I came into knowing after this devastation, like God is right here in the midst of it all. And I recently I've been doing some trauma work and healing and EMDR for myself with my own therapist.
Good.
Yeah. And the deeper I heal, and not just from the things that happen with my sons, because I've faced that first, but trauma has a way of impacting other areas of your life and the way that you view yourself, the way that you view others. And there was a lot of pain that happened after. Yeah. It's a friend of mine sent me something about, it was like when a person, if they like jump out of a plane or something like that, and I could get this all wrong, but it's not the first impact that the landing that gives the trauma, it's the bounce after. And that's what happened to me after losing Josiah and Jaden. There were other relationships after that were the, like, more trauma was added to the pain that I was already in. And so those are the things now that I'm, really focusing on. But going back to where God is here right now, there is a song, I'm a songwriter. My first degree is in music.
Wow, I love it.
And so, and I thought I had forgotten all of these songs that I had written. And the more I heal, the more access I have to these. Yes, it is amazing. Wow. Like I've been at the piano just playing and remembering these songs.
Oh, I love that. And
one of the songs I wrote years ago when I was in just a really dark place when I was married. And that's a whole nother story, but anyway. When I was in a dark place in my marriage, I wrote this song called Peace. And it was just for me to remember what God was doing in my life in the midst of like this. It was a horrible situation that happened. And one of the lines says, his love is right here in my circumstance. Yes, Father, I can see your hand. And that's what I learned again. Yeah. Right here in my circumstance. It's like, how, and I can't explain it. Other than in the midst of the bottom falling out, God was right there. And it's more than just going to church.
Absolutely.
Because that didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. You said that in the book.
Yeah. It's like all the won't he do it yet? Won't he will?
The wins, hashtag, yeah.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
But to see the expanse of real love of God in real time, that's what this book is about.
Yeah. It is written so beautifully. And to know that you were, like you have an education in music and that's your background as well. No wonder these words are so eloquent, like to describe pain, to describe your experience, to be able to share your journey in the way that you did. I don't know what I expected when I was at first. I don't think I expected what you wrote to be what it was about, right? But I was so pleasantly surprised, and I had chills many times reading your book because you journeyed through. You said something about deconstructing. What did you say? You said something about deconstructing and constructing. Oh gosh, what did you say?
I think I quoted Richard Rohr.
Yes, you did.
In his book of the wisdom pattern, I believe it is. And he talked about the pattern of wisdom, of order, disorder, and reorder.
Yes. Yeah. And I thought, it's right here. I marked it. I thought it was so good because what does it say? In his book, The Wisdom Pattern, Father Richard Rohr speaks about a wisdom pattern of order, disorder, and reorder. He writes, knowing the full pattern allows us to let go of our first order, trust the order, and sometimes even hardest of all, to trust the new reorder. 3 big leaps of faith for all of us, and each of a different character. Disorder can cause us to become more alive, and as he says, more expansive on the other side. I just thought that was such a beautiful way of looking at it because, again, when we lose people, right, our world is like what the heck is chaos. We do not know what to expect until after, and even still through the journey, you don't know what to expect. As you said earlier, kind of like it was the relationships and the connections. You described in the book a lot about community and feeling like sometimes in your journey you didn't feel that. You felt that sense of community for what it was, but it sometimes it still couldn't serve exactly what you needed. And it was that deep relationship with God that you discovered, and that you had to also discover that it wasn't that love is your religion. That's what you said. Love is my religion, right? And that was so beautiful to me because I feel like in this. You beautifully described, what does it say right here? It says, love. It says, I want to read this. It says, this book is about love. God's love for a girl who longed to be healed for so many years. A girl who grew into a woman. A girl whose heart has been continuously broken. This is a testament to the power of love. Love heals. Love restores. Love gives hope. Love turned a wounded girl into a wounded healer, who now imperfectly dispenses hope from wounds she openly shares with the world. And that requires so much vulnerability.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Hearing it read, it's like, oh.
Yes. That's how I felt when I read it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Anitra. You also talked in the book about, like you said, the whole won't he do it, and the people trying to give comfort in times of grief, right? And you so gracefully and compassionately, and again, compassion is a part of your your love and religion, how you put that. But you so compassionately described, and it showed appreciation to people for, thank you for your words. But in those times when it was so hard to understand this agony, this pain, and to feel that, you were like, I can't receive that. You couldn't receive that this was your journey, that you would end up here at all in the beginning. So can you tell me a little bit about that? Because I feel like, of course it's around the holiday times, and it's not too far off from when your baby Josiah, absolutely, transitioned from his earthly body. Right. And so that's coming up for you. I know that there are many people who suffer a lot more around the holiday times. Can you talk to me about what that community is like and what that journey has been like for you through your entire process of grief?
people mean well.
Yeah.
And they don't always know what to say. And especially with something that's devastating, they don't know what to say, and they don't know how to be present. And there's not a lot you can say, but presence is everything. And sometimes people put their foot in their mouths when they want to say something and they say too much. Just be quiet and just sit. You don't have to have the answers. This isn't fixable. This isn't fixable.
Absolutely.
And so to learn how to be present in your discomfort when you're present with someone else who's hurting. Because that's the main thing. People, I think, they want to fix you because to fix you will fix the discomfort that they're feeling. And the discomfort of, I have a certain faith belief that this is not reconciling with. And so I need to find a way to twist this to make it fit into my paradigm. And so it's really uncomfortable because I might be having a crisis moment of my own, and I don't know what to do with this. And so I need to try to figure it out so that I can feel peace within myself. And so I invite people just to sit with that and to sit in the discomfort of that and bring it to God. Not in the presence of the person who's hurting, but God is big enough for our discomfort. God is big enough for our questions, for our lack of faith, for the things that, contradict our faith. God is big enough for it. And so to name it within yourself so that you can be with people in community and not try to fix them, but to give them presence. Presence is everything. Just to say, I'm here, I don't get it, and I love you. One of the biggest things that I remember in that moment, it was after Josiah's death, after his transition into eternity. And it was right before the pandemic, so everyone was still gathering and everything. And, the pandemic hit just a few months later. But a friend of mine, a really, really good friend, we call each other like brother and sister from another mother. Then. And then said to me, he said, he was over to my house. This was before the funeral when everyone was gathering. And I just had this, I'm verklempt. Okay. I had this moment where I was screaming and writhing in pain on the floor. Screaming out, Josiah. And screaming, Josiah, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Josiah. And I heard Josiah. I heard him in that moment. He said, Mom, I'm right here. And it freaked me out because I was like, because I heard him. And when I was able to come somewhat to myself and I was sitting on the couch, Ben looked at me. He said, Anitra, your pain is not too much for me.
Wow.
He said, your pain isn't too much for me. And that's what, when people are in pain, that's what they need to know. That, yes, it's uncomfortable. We don't need to know that it's uncomfortable for you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But can you be with your discomfort enough just to be present? Just to be present. You don't have to have the words.
Absolutely.
Because you don't know what to say. Listen, I'm a whole licensed therapist and I've gone through grief. When people come to me, I don't know what to say sometimes.
Okay. When
just
like, right.
like, I don't know what to say. I'm just going to be there with you because thank you so much. I'm just going to be there. I'm just going to be like, I'm here. I love you. I got you.
Absolutely. I think that's so powerful though. When I think about moments of pain in terms of relating to what you mean about just someone saying, your pain is not too much for me. That means so much more than anything else they could ever say or do, just to be there. To say that it's okay for you to feel this way. And you don't have to be anything else in this moment or do anything else to make me feel comfortable. And I just think that's so special.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me about Ben even before I read the book. So when I read the
Yes.
book and I seen Ben's name in here, and I remember you telling me, because we've had multiple conversations over the years. They've been, I feel like, spread it out, but we've had multiple conversations. And I remember you telling me that. And I just remember too, Anitra, because you talk about in the book about...
And I need to say,
Absolutely.
Ben is a platonic friend. And that's what's so beautiful about it. Ben is married. Me and his wife, Shal, are really good friends. And I love his children.
Absolutely.
He's my brother.
Yeah.
He's a white guy, too.
Wow.
Yes, that's my brother.
Yes.
And so I wanted to say that so people like, oh, like, no, I'm single. For real single.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
but I just needed to say that just as a man, that he's able to hold space for and to be vulnerable and to hold space for me.
That's so special.
It is.
It's so rare.
It is.
People
and so,
are always trying to fix us.
Yes.
They are always trying to fix the situation.
Yes.
So I do think that that's so special. So shout out to you, Ben.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to you.
Yes.
You talked about, it was interesting because you talked a lot in the beginning of your book about kind of experiencing traumas and pain, and you was like, I felt like life was supposed to be hard. Like that was your notion, that life was just hard. And so you talked about finding joy in grief.
Yes.
And like that being something that you can simultaneously experience. And you had said that this was, what did you say before, right? Like, I think it was almost a year after Josiah had passed. You said that was the time that you felt you felt joy and happiness. And you said you had never felt that before in that way. And I just thought that was so interesting. Like, of all the times that you feel happiness and joy, you feel it now, almost a year later, after your son transcended. Please tell us about that and this specific, itself.
Well, I remember, I think it was specific to the depths of my joy and happiness have increased the more that I allow myself to feel the pain.
Yes.
And to move through the pain and to separate, like, or to, I won't say, well, separate, yes, but to become more cognizant of negative core beliefs.
Yes.
And to separate those from the feeling of the grief.
Absolutely.
and to acknowledge whatever the negative core belief is while giving myself compassion for those beliefs and the compassion for the feeling of this deep pain that's present.
Absolutely.
And so as I do that, my ability to feel joy and happiness increases.
Absolutely.
It's like an ironic gift that comes when you experience such great loss, when you develop the courage to be, and I say develop because you can develop it, the courage to be able to face the pain and to and know how to face it with compassion. It increases your ability to feel joy.
Absolutely.
And which is so surprising, because one of the things, and after grief and loss, it takes courage to feel happiness. It takes courage to feel joy, because it feels like a betrayal to our loved one when we lean into the happiness, or lean into the joy. It's like, I shouldn't be feeling this way. I should still. Why am I? But it's a gift. It's actually a gift that is given to us when we allow ourselves to grieve.
Yeah, absolutely. You talked in the book about, what did you say? I highlighted it. Let me see where I highlighted it. Hopefully I marked it. But it was about moving forward and being in the moment. You talked about being in the moment. Let me see if I can find it. Because you were saying that the pain and the grief, if you go too far in the future, you were saying, like, if you try to hold on to the memories in the past, of course, that causes pain. And then if you try to breathe because of the uncertainty about the future, that also causes pain. So you said being right there in the moment, and then also God being right there with you. And I thought that was so beautiful because it makes so much sense. It's like we do cherish the memories that we have with our loved ones, but oftentimes we remain in so much discomfort if we stay there. You talked about being stuck. In the book, you said you talked about this in the beginning of the book. You said people saw me, and accomplishments. They saw me moving forward, but internally you still felt so stuck because you were trying to both be the mother to Josiah in his eternity, right? Like in where he is now.
Yeah.
And you were still trying to be a mother to your sons at that time, Jaden and Nicholas.
Yeah.
Too. And it was like, this is hard. I'm stuck. I don't know how to navigate this. And I just thought that was so beautiful. So please, how do you? I can't imagine, I really can't, Anitra, losing my children. And I hear so many stories about people, especially when we think about school shootings. We just hear people losing their children in general. And how can you, I don't know, how do you live on past that and through that and make such connection the way that you did?
Yeah, what you're talking about. I was, because I'm forever their moms, right? And
Absolutely.
so I was still trying to parent Josiah in eternity.
Absolutely.
How do you do that?
Right.
How was I going to figure it out?
You figured it out, okay?
It's like, I'm your mama.
Absolutely.
So,
right.
But it wasn't working.
Yeah.
So
It wasn't working.
It wasn't working.
Yeah.
So,
That's
it just wasn't working.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, trying to get comfortable.
Oh, okay.
What I also talk about in the book is just literally having to focus on my breath.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the moment.
Absolutely.
And just what it feels like to breathe right now. Mm-hmm. And there was a time, like after Josiah passed, and then especially so after Jaden passed, I could not see my life beyond living into my 50s. Yeah. I'm 49 now. Wow. And Josiah's been gone. It'll be 6 years in like what, two weeks? 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks, something like that. And when Jaden passed, when he transitioned, I was in my 40s. I could not see beyond my 40s. Yeah. And it wasn't always because I was suicidal. It was just my mind. I couldn't see how could I live as Anitra without Josiah and Jaden here.
Absolutely.
And so that's what I was talking about. Is if I try to look off into the future, I couldn't plan. Wow. It was like all I had was right now. And in the past was so painful because I knew there would be no more new memories on this earth with them. Yeah. And so what do I do with that? I was trying to hold on as much as I could to the memories, but over time they kind of evaporate a little bit. You can't remember everything, and you just remember the certain essence. And so with that's torture. That's torture. And so I had to learn to be here, right now, right here, and find the gift of now. The gift of the present. And sometimes that was me going out in nature. I connected in nature a lot, like look in some of my poetry, I talk about nature and like the trees and the leaves and seeing how the seasons changed and the beauty and everything, and just, walking and feeling what the breeze feels like on my skin. At, just at different times or seasons, it might feel a little chilly or a little nippy. It may feel like a caress. Just different things that I was able to find beauty in being right now and right here. And that's how I was able to just, because people, they tell you like, take it a day at a time. BS. Yeah. A day is too long.
Absolutely.
A day is too long.
Absolutely.
Because I need to breathe right. I need something for right now.
In this moment, in this second.
Yes. And the day is too long. I don't have a day. I just have right now. I have to figure out, how do I breathe? How do I lean into my breath and recognize that as I let go of the exhale, the inhale is right there. And I have to release the exhale in order to get the inhale. And when I do, it feels good. It feels whole. It feels cleansing. That's it right there.
The breath prayer. I love that so much.
Yeah.
I love the breath prayer because, again, it centers us. It keeps us in the moment, not too far looking backward too much because there's pain, again, because of what is not going to come next. Then going into the future, if you can't see yourself in the future, it's just like, it was so beautiful. And I'm just like, she wrote this. You wrote this. I know that it's about your journey, but Anitra is so deep. Is beyond, I think, what maybe most people can probably understand, especially if they've never been through this type of pain. Excuse me. Or especially if they've never understood, had this relationship with grief in such a way, through your relationship with God and through understanding and paying so much more attention to yourself. It's interesting because you talked about depression and you said, I had no clue that I was depressed. You said even when because you were committed, you went to the psych ward, right?
Yep, psych ward.
Because you were having suicidal ideation.
Yes.
You said
I was planning. I had the suicidal ideations. I had a plan.
Wow.
I was like about to, because what happened was after Josiah passed, Jaden was suicidal.
Okay.
He attempted suicide before we even had the funeral.
Wow.
And I was like,
oh no.
And so afterwards, Jaden was like, it was really, really bad. Nicholas was having mental health crisis. I was like, so what's going on? Are all my kids about to be up out of here?
Man.
I was like, okay, bet. If this was about to happen, then I'm not going to be here because I'm not going to, what?
Yeah.
So I was in the psych ward and it ended, I made a plan and I was calling people, telling them how much they meant to me.
Absolutely.
But they didn't know it was my goodbye. And because I really tell people generally just like, you mean so much and I love you and you're such a great friend. So some people were just like, oh, Anitra, thank you, you know. But a couple of people were like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, no, everything's fine. And then I was just like, dang it, I can't do this. And then I confided in Ben and I confided in my best friend. And I ended up going over my best friend's house that night so I wouldn't be by myself.
Yeah, yes.
And then she was just like, how are you feeling, bestie? Are you doing good? I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, still texting people, telling them because I was still planning.
Yeah.
And then I just felt bad. And I was just like, I can't do this. To her, to them, I said, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
I'm planning on taking my life when you take me back home tomorrow. I said, I need to go to the hospital right now.
Yeah.
And I spent 10 days in the psych ward.
Wow. But the bravery, the courage to live. That's how we started. Like, okay, well, let's come. Please come on the show because we were texting, and the way that you described this connection to the courage to live, despite a double suicide loss of your boys, your sons, right, your babies, and to you see yourself in the way that you have through this journey. Because I feel like you were tuned in. And I feel like because of the circumstances, you were like, I'm not going to dissociate, even though I feel like you described sometimes where you're like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. Like, but you were so tapped into yourself. You were so tapped into this experience, into this journey. And at the same time, you can admit that I did not even know that I was depressed. I didn't know. Like you said, just about Josiah, we're always the people that people come to. We're always the people that, you know, is looking for it to answer. Like, they're looking for the answers. You give the answers. You're the healer. You're the this. I'm going to fix. And your baby was the same way. And at some point that becomes too much and we're so busy. You talked about this in the book about how people keep themselves busy and that people often give the advice of, you know, just stay busy. You got to keep working. You just got to have faith. You got to do this and you said no.
That's how the bottom fell out.
Yeah.
Because I was still in grad school at that time for you know, to become a therapist.
Absolutely.
And after Josiah passed, it was December, so we had I was a teacher.
Absolutely.
I was a kindergarten teacher at that time.
Wow.
So we had the winter break and everything, and we came back in January. I didn't take more time off.
Yeah.
I went to work.
Wow.
And meanwhile, my sons are in crisis. And I was heavily in deep grief. Not only did I go back to work, I started back classes in grad school. I think I signed up for like 3 classes. It was like, so I was, and I was getting it done. Until Jaden, you know, was all this stuff and Nicholas. And then it was just like, for everybody else, they're like, she's so, I hate it when people tell people how strong they are when they've endured trauma and tragedy. Stop it. Stop. I'm going to look at, stop it. It is, I wasn't trying to be strong. I had nobody to lean on, really. I'm a single woman. I'm at home by myself doing the things that I had to take care of my kids.
Absolutely.
It wasn't that I was just like, I'm just this strong woman. And because I looked like I was strong, the bottom fell out. I was doing all the things, functionally depressed. Functionally depressed, still doing all the things, going to work, paying the bills, doing this, doing that, going on fumes, existing on fumes, and everybody telling me how strong I am. Stop it.
I agree. Stop it. When I read that, I said, stop it. I had to repeat it because, again, I do think that it's what you said in the beginning. People sometimes seeing other people's pain is so uncomfortable. They want to fix it. If they slow down to recognize your pain, then they have to also acknowledge their own pain. And we can't do that because we need to keep it all together. We need to show up. We have to do this. This is our society. Our system is not built for that. You made space for your grief, even in your journey of still having to do all the things. And you did it by journaling it, by writing it, like something so sacred, something so private, something that, I mean, you can just write, but you did it. And I think that just takes so much bravery and courage. Because again, every single day we go through things. We don't write about them. We don't talk about them. You know, we feel it maybe in the moment. And then we were like, all right, I'm going to be all right. Let me just get back up. And again, I think that our culture, our society in general, mishandles grief and mishandles people who are grieving. Again, even with the workplace, you know, you only get a certain amount of days and then you have to return. And then if you have any, you know, discrepancies after that, you're getting in trouble. It's not, oh, but you lost this person and you're grieving. They don't understand. They don't care. And I do think that is the reason why a lot of people's bottoms fall out. Or either people, you know, become addicted to substances. They use substances to medicate themselves. Or they just escape altogether. They disassociate from their life, from the thing, from the people, or they just keep going, head down, and let's just keep pushing through because what else is there for me to do? I can't be sad all day, right? Like that's the language. But I just think that you beautifully shared your journey. And again, I didn't expect it to be what it is. You talk so much about your relationship with God and how that really was the anchor, right? You have a chapter called Anchor. And you talked about how that was really the anchor, but that you called yourself a super Christian. You said that first at some point
back in the day.
You said back in the day I was
Christian.
a super Christian, right? And you talked about that a lot in your book. Like you talked about how that wasn't helpful for you. I really want people to understand, Anitra, because I really want people to understand because again, I don't think unless they read your book, I think that they won't get it. I don't think that they will get it because the fact that you still talk about God in the way that you do, people gonna be like, oh, okay, she's doing the same thing that I did. No, can you please share this because I just thought this was so pivotal to your journey. You said in the book, you said, the beliefs that I carried prior to my beloved's departure could not hold the weight of my questions, experiences, not the exuberant heaviness of my pain. Therefore, it was through great agony that the core of my beliefs have undergone great deconstruction and now reconstruction. And again, I just was like, wow, this to me, that is like the core of how you were able to get through all of this pain because that's a lot, Anitra.
It is.
It's a lot.
It is. Oh my gosh. That's a whole thing.
I know.
Oh, goodness. I was having this conversation yesterday. with the gentleman and another woman that I had met at this men's conference. And we got on some really interesting topics, and he was asking, we were talking a little bit about my story, and he was asking what helped me. Was it, what was the community around me? Was it church and this, that, and the other? And I was like, well, right. Like the church, it was, I had some beautiful people at church, but that is adjacent to what my personal experience has been with walking with God. Church couldn't fix this, and neither could the doctrines and the theological beliefs that I was brought up in. It had holes in it, and the holes began to leak and give way, and it was scary because the things that I began to question, I lost, two of my sons. It was like, if I don't question this and I hold on to this, I'm going to die with them. But if I question this, will people walk away from me because I no longer believe how they believe about Christianity? And it's not to say that I'm not a Christian, because I am.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what I've began to read a lot more and read people who question certain things and learn that certain practices that I had weren't historically always believed, and that it was okay if I, diverged from that and held space for something broader and something more expansive. And so I started reading authors like Howard Thurman, Dr. Barbara Holmes, a wonderful theologian, a Black woman theologian, who's a contemplative. She and Richard Rohr, people like that who have a more expansive view of God and Christianity and who God is, and leaning into the mystery of God, and being okay with uncertainty and with doubts, and being able to present that to God and say, Lord, I don't understand this, and being okay with that, and not having to have a definitive answer or scripture, and even questioning the Bible, and being okay with that, and learning that I am in good company, that there are other people who question and who, I don't know, they may be considered heretical. I don't know, but it doesn't matter at this point. Absolutely. I don't care, because I have freedom, and my relationship with God is, like I said, more expansive. It was scary because when I brought it to certain family members, they were like, okay. But the more they talked to me, they were like, okay, that makes sense. And it was just like, and, I'm intentionally staying away from certain topics just because this is the internet, and people, I just, just whatever. When people have a conversation with me that are closer to me, they get the details of things. Absolutely. But I'm more contemplative, being able to look more deeply at things, into seeing where is God in this. And that even includes, like, I talk about in the book, and I know this may rub some people the wrong way, and that's okay too. That's fine. Like, I'm really okay with that. But I talk about, because of my experience of, of quoting scripture and doing all the things and fasting, and I still, that still is important to me. But there was a time in my grief where reading the Bible was painful, and I couldn't. It was too much. Because I was like, won't he where? For me, it was just painful. Absolutely. But being able to have that relationship with God, where I was like, this is what it is, Father.
Absolutely.
And so he, in God's wisdom, led me to other wisdom writings outside of the Bible that also mirrored God's goodness. And so I was looking in, like, you know, certain Buddhist writings and things like that, and I saw God, and I was like, and I'm not about to debate anybody about that, but
right, we're not.
And so whatever.
Yeah.
But God was just showing me that God is and was before time, before writings, and that He is. And so that's what I was able to lean into the expansiveness of God.
Absolutely.
and see Christ as is before time.
Absolutely.
And so that has been my journey. More, it's giving it a title, contemplative Christianity.
Absolutely.
Is what it is.
Yeah. You have a poem here called "Find Me in the Darkness." I love that. Could I read it?
Yes.
Okay. You start off with the scripture. He uncovers deep things out of darkness and brings the shadow of death to light. That's Job 12:22. It says, Father, find me in the darkness when my feet cannot bear to stand. Father, find me in the darkness when I can't lift my hands. Father, find me in the darkness when I can barely speak your name. Father, find me in the darkness because even the darkness is light to you. Father, find me in the darkness when hope is failing and it seems I have nothing to cling to. Father, find me in the darkness when anguish claws at my soul. Father, find me in the darkness. I beseech you to fill this chasm of loneliness and woes. Father, find me in the darkness, for I have no strength to seek you. Father, find me in the darkness. And envelope me. Is that the word? Envelope. Okay. Envelop me with your abounding love. May it strengthen and renew. Amen. And I thought that was beautiful because throughout this book, Anitra, you talk about how God is with you where you are. Where you are. Like outside of what you thought and what people tell you is supposed to be like and how you're supposed to be. You questioned and you found your answers and you found it. Oh gosh, when you talk about Zelda and Elroy, oh gosh, that was so, I just was like, I don't know, like I was so emotional. Just to be able to see, you say it right here. So Zelda is
my dog baby.
Your dog baby.
She passed away.
Oh no.
I know.
When did she pass away?
May 7th of this year. It's been 6 months.
Wow, Anitra.
I miss her so much.
Yeah.
That's my baby.
She
was my angel baby.
Yeah, she was.
She was my angel baby. She was. I know Josiah sent her to me.
Absolutely.
And I just had this vision of God the Father looking at Josiah and they were together like in cahoots, like we're about to get her.
Absolutely.
And sending Zelda to me in the depths of my grief. I didn't even want a dog.
I know. You talk about you wanted a cat. Your friend was helping you find a cat, and then you seen the picture of Zelda, and then your friend told you. Yes. And I just thought, like, that is, you said, this is what you said. You said, I knew in the instant, this is kind of long, but I'm going to read it. I knew in that instant that Zelda was a gift from Abba. Am I saying it right? Mm-hmm. And that Josiah was in on it. When Zelda came home that very same day, joy entered my heart in a way that I did not know was possible. To further solidify Abba's hands in this once adopted, I received Zelda's birth certificate. It read Zelda Rice, which is your last name. That is, her previous family's surname was Rice. Through a series of interesting social media events, I learned that Zelda lost her previous matriarch to suicide. What are the odds that our lives will be orchestrated to find each other? I know that Abba sees me. He really, really sees me, and he sees Zelda, a dog. Oh my gosh, Anitra. I promise you, I just was like, this is what I'm talking about. Because you are so brave and so courageous to go on this journey of grief and to deconstruct and reconstruct all the things that you know about everything in life, and you are still able to see God with you and to see those moments that God and Josiah sent you Zelda. And then the connection of her life. And oh my gosh. If that wasn't, and because you talked about a relationship and a companionship. And it came to me when I read this book. I'm like, it came in the form of a dog, Zelda. He sees Zelda too.
It did. It was like I was praying for, because I'd been divorced since 2010, 2011, and just been praying for companionship, and like, Lord, when is it going to happen? And I'm doing all this internal work, and you know, just healing, deep healing, being present with myself, and all these things. And I'm like, Lord, where is he? And I'm being intentional about dating and all of that. And then Josiah dies. And now I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I have to go through this by myself. And then praying for a companion, he sent Zelda.
That was so funny. I love that so much.
I was like, okay.
Right. I know. Okay. What?
But she was just amazing. She was feisty and she was beautiful. She would, when I was grieving, like Josiah and Jaden, I remember one night I was just crying, and she got out of her bed and she brought me her toy.
Wow.
And she was just like, okay, here, mommy.
She
went back to sleep.
Like, what you want me to do with this?
Just like, you know, she brought me her little dog, her little toy. Like, okay, mommy, feel better.
And
it's just like, yeah, it's just my little companion.
And so special.
Just I would sing to her, and when I, you know, do my musical theater.
She's probably looking like, what are we doing?
Just have conversations with her. That was my little baby.
That is so special. I'm so sorry to hear about your loss with her. Yeah, absolutely. When you, so with Josiah, there was a lot, you had done a lot of work, right? You said you had started to feel better and everything. And then you found out and realized that Jaden had also took his life. And you talked about experiencing something different in that journey with Jaden. With Josiah, you talked about feeling like this pain. You questioned a lot of things. You were trying to find joy and trying to find happiness and trying to figure out how to live your life, how to mother your boys here in eternity. Like, but then with Jaden, it was like numb. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Oh yeah. So, oh my gosh, it's so with Josiah, I was able to feel Josiah like throughout that whole year.
Wow. Okay.
I felt him very, very close. It's like the veil between time and eternity was very thin.
Yeah. Wow.
And I felt his presence with me. He was so close. But then at the year mark, I could sense there was like, over time, there was like a shift where I would feel him less and less as close.
Absolutely.
I knew he was there, but his presence was just different. And at the year mark, he said to me, he was like, Mom, I'm fine, I'm good. He said, God the Father is, you know, parenting me and I'm good. He said, he was like, what you need to do is be worried about those two right there. And this was in prayer one day, and I was just like, oh, wow. I was like, okay.
Absolutely.
And I felt peace, and I was like, okay, okay, I'm about to live, and I'm gonna, you know, I was working out. I was like super fit and just doing all, I had just earned my black belt.
Yes.
And I was just like, okay, all right. And I knew Jaden, and I would have these visions and things in prayer, and I knew that I had this dream that Jaden was, he was in darkness. It was like in an alley, and then Nicholas was in the light. And I knew immediately that Nicholas was going to be okay, but Jaden was still going through some things. But I didn't know that it was.
Absolutely.
And so Jaden was like in and out of the hospital.
Wow.
Like, I can't even tell you how many times Jaden was in and out of the hospital during the time, that year that Josiah was gone, after Josiah left. And so, and so I knew it was like, you know, I was just really present with Jaden. It was just, you know, trying to figure it out. It was the pandemic.
Absolutely.
It was a lot of stuff going on. And like a couple of weeks before, a couple of weeks before Jaden passed, I felt this strong inclination to fast.
Okay.
And it was for Jaden. And I began to pray, and I was fasting, and I knew, and I was praying for specific things. And then Jaden called me on the phone and was like, Mom, all of a sudden I'm getting all these answers to things, and I was thinking about this, and I was like, Jaden, I was praying for you about this, and this, and he was like, really? I was like, yeah. I was like, baby, I've been fasting for you, and da 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 da, and God was just, and during this time, I felt so close to God, and it was just this, I don't know, it was just like this peace, like it was. This just came to me. Before Christ was crucified, Mary, one of the Marys, came to him, and she anointed his feet with oil, and she was preparing him for the crucifixion, and she was just bathing his feet with her tears. Wow. That's what I believe the fast was about. It was God was preparing me. Yeah. Oh, this literally just came to me in this moment. God was preparing me for what I was about to go through. And so when Jaden left, it was like, I wrote it in a book. I was like, Lord, do I pray that he's resurrected? I didn't know how he died at the time. I was on my way to him.
Absolutely. And
then the officer said how he died. Yeah. It was a gunshot wound to the head. Yeah. And I was just like, there's no way. And so it was just like, what in the world just happened? And I was numb. Yeah. And it wasn't a choice. It wasn't something like, I just don't want to feel this. My body shut down. My nervous system shut down. And it was over time, through the practices that I write about in the book, that I slowly began to feel. And I remember, like, when Josiah passed, I had his picture on my phone, so that, when it would come up, I would, it was for me to see my baby. I tried to put Josiah and Jaden's picture on my phone at the same time after Jaden passed, and my heart felt like it was about to stop, and I couldn't. I was like, nope, I can't. Yeah. And so I had to, one at a time. I had to, be really intentional about how I approached the grief of now 2 sons. And it was like I had to make room for Jaden and then Josiah. But it took me a while for me to be able to collectively grieve them. Absolutely. Because it was just overwhelming.
Yeah. You talked about grieving perfectly. And that's when I wrote the breath prayer down, because I thought that was, again, just being in that moment, not being too far back, not, even if you can't see the future, just kind of being there. I admire so much the practices you did, and I know that I remember talking to you even before you wrote the book, or probably in the process, because you've been writing since. And I remember you saying you were going to martial arts, and you were just strength training, like you were doing workouts in your house, and you were getting strong, and you were doing all these things. And to see all the things that you were experiencing, and to see that part, it's like we never know what people are going through.
And all of the strength training and all of that happened while I was grieving Josiah. Wow. After Jaden, that's when a lot of the weight gain started, because the weights were too heavy for me, because my body felt heavy. And so to lift a 15-pound weight felt like I was lifting a 100-pound weight. And so it was, and I began to cope with food and things like that. And so, And so it was, that's when the journey of, Anitra, can you love me right now as is, in this pain, in this body? In this body, because I was used to being really fit. Like I've competed in martial arts and doing all these different things. And then it was, can I love me in this destitute place while I'm learning how to live and how to breathe? Can I love me when my body feels foreign? Because I'm not used to this. Can I love me? And I was like, yes. Then I shaved my head, because the whole thing, because I had to, the locks were just, it was just, my hair was to my waist at that time. And so it was like I had to start over with everything. And it was like, can you love yourself being heavier, and you're in the having a heavier body with no hair.
Absolutely.
It's like, yes, girl.
Yeah,
hey.
okay, we gonna do this. Absolutely. I think that's so pivotal to the fact too, and I was just trying to connect this as a reader, like that you also, you know, questioned your mothering during that time, like, well, because you said, how could I, you know, basically like, how am I their mother? How did I miss this? I'm a therapist, but at the same time, I'm their mom. So that wasn't my job. You were trying to rationalize.
Yeah.
You were trying to rationalize with yourself and just understanding, like, this was a lot. And am I, like, questioning that motherhood? Because, like, I'm supposed to save them and protect them, and I've done all the things, and this is where we end up. And so for you to go through that journey of, can I love me as me? Considering all the questions that you've thrown at yourself, considering all the things that has happened along the way, and like you said, just the coping with food, and then the weight gain and all of those things, Anitra, like, I mean, wow. Yeah. I just think, like, to be able to accept self, you know, and you talk about self in here. I love that. You did a lot of therapy work. You did IFS. You did dialect, DBT.
Yes, I did DBT in a hospital.
Okay, DBT.
And it was really powerful.
Wow.
It was really helpful.
I do think I have people that I feel like I need to recommend to DBT, because I do think, I've never done it, but I have researched about it, and I love it.
IFS. That's been my
the parts.
Yes, that's been my mainstay. IFS, and now I'm doing EMDR.
Okay.
And I've also been trained in EMDR to be able to administer it. And I'm trained in IFS as well. Beautiful. So this is, it's who I am. It's how I interact with myself, and it's how I am as a therapist as well.
Yeah. I feel like your life is so full. I feel like you are so full of purpose. And again, I don't want to be the people in the book where you like, okay, well, see, this is, because I don't, like you said, the silver lining. Okay.
No.
I just know, and I see you, you know, and I see the purpose that you're in, and the fact that you're living, and you've lived through this. You have the courage to live, and you're helping other people to do that. You asked and questioned, am I qualified to heal and be a healer and to help people through this? Considering where you were in your journey, and that, like you said, well, look at the work I did with my boys, but look where they ended up. Am I qualified to do this work? And I was like, yes, girl, yes, you are. You are more than qualified. You are more than qualified, and I think you know that now.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that so much about you. Before we wrap up, I want to ask about the signs of grief, because you talked about signs of grief here. And what are some signs of grief that people may not realize, or even signs of grief that you experienced throughout your journey? What does that look like?
One of the biggest ones is anger that I notice, because it feels safer to feel angry. And it's a protector. It feels like it protects us, especially when we've gone through so much and we feel so wounded and vulnerable. And vulnerable in a sense of able to be easily wounded again because of the wounds that we carry.
Absolutely.
That anger is a way for us to protect ourselves and to shield ourselves from more of that pain.
Absolutely.
Isolation, that's another one. Isolating ourselves, avoidance, those are the ones that come to mind immediately.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I always tell people that there's 5 stages of grief that I usually tell my clients. And I say, there's denial, there's anger, bargaining, woulda, coulda, shoulda, maybe I would have did this if I would have looked like this. There's depression, of course. You talked about not having any motivation to do things that you loved, and just not being interested in anything. You didn't want to do anything that you enjoyed anymore. But also there's the point of acceptance. And I just want you to talk about that really quickly. Like, when you think about acceptance in grief, because the name of your book is Sojourner of Grief, right? The definition of sojourn means, like, I'm just kind of visiting, right? Like, I'm just traveling through. So when we think about acceptance and sojourning through grief, what does that look like, and what does that look like for you?
So it isn't a fixed place. That's what I want to say. It isn't a fixed place to acceptance. It can become a place that you live in more often, more frequently. But even still, there are moments of going back sometimes when different memories or new experiences arise where you might go back into the different stages. And so, like for just recently, there was something that came up concerning Jaden when he was a little guy. And I felt so much guilt. And it was heavy. And I had to go work through that and get to a place of acceptance with just that. Now I've accepted a lot, you know, but that particular thing was a new thing that that hadn't come up before. It's been 4.5 years since Jaden left, that I had to work through and accept that. So it's, as we face new things, we can start to live in a place of acceptance more frequently and as our resting place. But we still can travel through, you know, as we have new experiences. And so when I think about the sojourn of grief, it's about a relationship. It's about a relationship with grief. It's about a relationship with ourselves in grief. Do we judge ourselves with the grief, or are we able to approach the parts of ourselves with compassion, with curiosity, like, what is this about? What am I experiencing right now? And in approaching the relationship with the loss, what is that? Just being curious and noticing what's coming up for us. That's the relationship, and that's the sojourn. That's how we can travel well through grief and learn these different things and pick up these different wisdom nuggets along the way.
Absolutely. You're so self-aware. You're so tapped in. Like you're very tapped in. How is Nicholas doing? How is Nicholas doing?
Nicholas is so good. I just talked to my baby before I came here. And so I started a foundation, the FOL Foundation. And Nicholas and I co-created a program for teens. It's called Healing Arts Drama, where we combine therapeutic resources in the dramatic arts. Nicholas is studying the dramatic arts in Manhattan right now. At the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. And so he's studying acting and all the things. And so him being a professional and everything, we put all of those things together for teens, and it was amazing. We launched it this past summer. It's gonna come back this next year as well. And so I'm so proud of him. That's my baby. And so he's passionate about mental health, mental illness, and destigmatizing it in the Black community. He's a writer, so a lot of what he writes is centered around that theme. And so,
I love that so much. When I saw your that you were launching the class, the project, it was so beautiful, and I'm just like, okay, girl, like you're so creative. You guys are so creative. I appreciate that. And then recently you had a workshop. It was ceramics and grief.
Healing grief with ceramics.
Yes, how was that?
Oh, it was amazing. We sold out.
Okay, yes.
I was so happy. Oh, they received a free copy of my book, and they have their ceramic piece that they're going to get after it's fired in the kiln. I partnered with Ricky Blanding Ceramics. He's an African American queer ceramic artist in the city of Detroit. He's amazing. And so we partnered with him, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful experience to take people through meditation and to be with their grief. And so we talk about the 5 stages of grief. So there's a 6th stage. Yes. Also, David Kessler, who worked with Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who came up with the 5 stages of grief. He was able to identify a 6th stage, finding meaning or making meaning. Yes. And so we talked about that during the Healing Grief with Ceramics as a way of you being able to define and say, what does this grief mean and how I want to carry it forward. So that's what the part of the theme of that was.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that so much, because I'd never thought about it and actualizing it in that way, but that's how I process the grief and finding meaning.
Yeah.
But that makes so much sense.
Yeah, that's what this is. That's what this is, and that's what the FOL Foundation is, and everything that I do is me finding meaning of not just the loss of my sons, that especially, but all the loss, like my marriage, you know, going through divorce and all the hard things I experienced with that, the childhood sexual trauma, all the stuff, you know, the generational stuff, you know, the loss of my father, just all the things. And so me saying, okay, God, use it all. Use it all. Here's my life. Use it all. Let it have meaning. Let it help somebody else to be able to love themselves well, to know you and to know their purpose and to heal.
Absolutely.
Just to heal.
To heal. I love that so much. Sojourner of Grief has helped me tremendously, just even in my read of my own grief and pain. You talked about guilt in here, just a lot of things that I am really encouraging you all to purchase Sojourner of Grief. I am already
on Amazon.
On Amazon, yes. Okay, on Amazon, because I do think that it's it helps you to look at loss, grief, pain, even guilt, even our relationship with ourselves and how we are so judgmental. It can be so judgmental. Even the relationship that we have or don't have with God. I feel you talk about how to do that in this book through your own experience, through your own journey, and I see it. So I just really wish that other people, and pray that other people do receive a copy. I already told my husband the other day, I said I'm buying a few copies for other people. I told him that yesterday.
Thank you.
I really do, and I appreciate you. Can you please tell, is there anything else you want to say that you want to add? And then please, just tell people where they can find you. There are resources at the end of the book as well for suicide and mental health support, finding a therapist, mental health crisis. So please get the book. And there's also reflection pages. So like writing, where you can write directly in the book. If you can see, I highlighted and added sticky notes. There's also prayers in here that were so beautiful, Anitra. I plan to carry some of those with me. They were really beautiful. So
thank you.
Please tell the people where they can find you and what's next and anything else that you want to share.
Yeah, you can find me at the FOLFoundation.com. I'm on social media, Anitra Rice, Anitra L Rice, Instagram, Facebook, or AnitraLRice.com. You can find me there as well for speaking events and things of that nature. I do keynotes and things like that.
Absolutely. Is there any last thing that you want to say or add, or that's just on your heart?
Especially going before the holidays, I just want people to feel encouraged and to know that there is hope. And one of the biggest lessons I learned after losing Josiah and Jaden is I learned about their relationships with themselves. And through their writings, that the pain that they carried from the divorce of their dad and I was so heavy, and they internalized it. And it was their relationships with themselves and how they conceptualized who they were that was so painful. And so I encourage you to learn to practice self-compassion and self-kindness. And even with the guilt, just because you are in pain, you're worthy of compassion because it hurts, to acknowledge it and to show yourself self-compassion. That is such a powerful way to be with yourself in the pain, and it creates pathways of hope, pathways of healing, just to begin to practice self-compassion. And it's something that we don't really talk about or haven't even been trained or have skills in. And so I just want to encourage people in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so grateful for your presence, to have you here. I'm so grateful for your life, your existence on this earth. The fact that I met you so oddly, licking people up, being weird.
That's not weird. I really, get it. Like, look, let me find somebody.
You're trying to find your community and your people.
Yes,
and
that's not weird. That's brave. Okay, I appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But you have inspired my life so much, and even just throughout the years, conversations with you has really always been so deep. I feel like you see me. I feel like I see you, and things that I think is weird that I talk about, we talk about, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not weird.
No,
someone else feels that way too. But I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on HerSpace On Cue, sharing your story, and, you know, hopefully inspiring and provoking healing in someone else who may not even know that they're in grief, who may not even know that they're depressed, who may not even know how a way forward or how to get through, who may have, again, you know, tried the systems and the practices that you said people so often push on us, but it's not working, and they still feel that pain. But to also be so courageous to be curious about their relationship with grief and how to really get through that, to find meaning, to find hope in their loss and in their pain. And I know that so many people are going through so many things at this time in life. And so no matter what your pain is, again, I always tell people that grief is not just about losing a loved one. It's oftentimes transitions of relationships, the loss of identity in certain transitions, maybe holding on to something that we thought about our country and what we thought other people, our neighbors. Like, there's a lot of grief in life that we all go through. So again, this is not about just losing a loved one. There's so much grief we go through that we don't even recognize. And so I just hope that you all feel brave enough to question, to be curious, and to explore your own grief and that relationship with it. And of course, if you need some support, I would encourage you to reach out to Anitra because she's amazing, and I just appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thank you. I love you so much. Absolutely.